Okay, so I thought I'd show you some of the instruments that I used on our first recording on Sweet Emotion. And these are the instruments that I use, at least some of them. And over here is the first instrument that you hear, which is a drum from Nepal. And I bought it. It's a double-headed drum, so if you can't really see, but anyway, there's a head on each end, and it's from Nepal, and I bought it at a shop on Piedmont Avenue, and that's the first thing you hear. Then the second thing that you hear is this thing, which is called a jaw harp. In Nepal they have them, and they call them something else, and it looks like it's spelled like Murchunga, but I guess that's not pronounced correctly, which is what usually happens when I try to say anything in Nepali. But that's the second thing you hear, and that sort of is like the drone instrument. It comes back into the mix later on in one of the verses. And then you hear this instrument. This is a sarangi. This is not an Indian sarangi. This is a Nepali sarangi, which was given to me by my best friend Rupa and sent to me, and she gave it to me for my birthday, so she's written inside of it. Whoops, I can't really see. Here we go. Let's get the lens cap out of the way. And she always writes her name and the date and everything on everything that she ever gives me, so that's that, and you hear that. That's the first bowed instrument that you hear on the recording. And then you hear the second bowed instrument, which is this thing. And this is a dilruba. I'm probably mispronouncing that too. It's from India. And it's not much of a dilruba because it's supposed to have a skin top like the sarangi does, but it broke, so I replaced it with this wooden top. And the bridge is pretty bad. I just stuck it on there, and there's a couple of United States quarters holding it up. But that's the second thing that you hear that's played. And then let me see, what else have we got? We've got this acoustic guitar, which my friend Mark from Flashback Guitars gave me. It says Lee on it. That's my name. And I said, oh look, there's my guitar. I said, oh, you can have that thing, it's terrible. And the neck was all coming off of it, so I had Larry over at Thin Man glue the neck on for me, and the action is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's way too high to play regular guitar on, so I always just use it for slide, and I used it in the recording. And then there's another slide guitar, this thing, which is a Taisco electric guitar I made in Japan in the 60s, and I use that for the electric side parts, especially the solo at the end. And it says Lafayette there on the headstock, and that was a catalog company that sold them. And then here we have an electric sitar, missing one of the pickups, which I need to put back in. It's not a Coral Dan Electro sitar, but it's a copy of it. The interesting thing about this is that they just come with these zither strings that are supposed to be sympathetic strings, but they don't really work like sympathetic strings. And so I stuck a sitar bridge that I made underneath the strings so that instead of sounding like a zither, it sounds more like sitar, sympathetic strings. So that was used on the recording. The only thing you really hear from this instrument is that stuff, that. And then for regular sitar playing, I used this sitar that my mom gave me for a birthday present a few years ago. And it's not the greatest quality sitar you'll ever see, and I put that Rickenbacker label on it for a joke because we were in a Beatles cover band and playing Beatles songs on sitar, and I thought that would be funny. But I can tune this sitar because it's shorter scale. I can tune it to A, and we recorded Sweet Emotion in the key of A, which is the original key actually, and so I used that sitar on it. The electric guitar that I used was an Ovation Breadwinner. It was a white one, but I had to sell it after the recording because I needed the money. But anyway, I have another Ovation Breadwinner which is black, but it's over here in this case, and I'll take it out and show it to you later on. But anyway, that's some of the instruments that I used.